scary. Varus, Nico, really common 2v2 that we had seen for quite a long time. Which does make me wonder, if it is just going to be that lethality style, even though that has received some nerfs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As soon as I see Nico Varus, I'm like, it's lethality. But
especially if there's not really a tank on the other side, it doesn't really matter that much. They have pretty good damage, especially if you are going to go towards the Gnar. Kana obviously so comfortable on it. I do think it is a pretty good matchup for the Yorick.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is a bit of a scary one, picking it into the Yorick that's already there. But we did see kind of like pick a Gnar into a theoretical losing matchup yesterday, and he obliterated it. So
it's just
should
comfort,
be fun.
right? Like, he just loves this champion, and I will say...
Seeing the course and getting themselves into good spots. So here we are into game number 3. T1 with that match point. KC, this could be the beginning of the reverse sweep.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to get that done. Yehu, he is a former LCK player. He has had some experience against Faker.
Yes.
Coming into today...
Do you want to know his experience against Faker?
He is 0-6 coming into today, so he is now 0-8. He has never won a game against Faker. And if they lose this game, he will then be 0-4 in series as well. So, that is tough. But I will say, he has been playing quite well. I feel like he's been...
Oh my goodness. This is just a lot of Biffo. There is the area out of Kalist. Pace still has his, but no heals remaining on either side.
Ooh,
this is getting explosive here in this bottom lane. That is a lot of Ardent Blaze value there from Pace, wanting to race towards this level 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kalist is actually going Doran's Helm, which has been nerfed on this patch. And he's down a summoner, and he used both his potions first. So
and he's gone lethal tempo, so he is going for the on-hit.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, you need someone to kill the front line off eventually, I guess, but it can be hard against these kind of comps sometimes to actually stand and fire, for long enough. But if you do disengage the initial, kind of go from Oner and Doran, then you may just be fine. As both these bot lane trying to race for 2, but Pace is going to get it first, then
there's the dash in, finds the double tap onto Kalist. The flash has to be used, and the Ardent Blaze just to make sure the Busio is out of there as well. This is Pace and Carrier in vintage domination mode.
Yeah, that is beautiful form from them. And one of these little things that I love when you see smart plays like this. So from that spot, as soon as I saw that, KC overstayed, T1 is going to get 2, and Kalist is going to have to flash. But it will be one of the T1 members that has to flash to force it. So Pace holds his flash.
Oh, great wall up there from Kana as Doran finds a bit of health with the Q, but Mini-Gnar comes in, the boomerang comes down, and he can't quite get the auto. Turret would have definitely killed him there, but still manages to get the flash out of the arc. Maybe some more aggression later from Kana will be able to lock this one down. And he does get the shove under the turret.
That was really, really close. I thought that was going to dissipate earlier, but back to the earlier point. Basically, Keria or Pace, one of them needs the flash to force the flash from Kalist. So Keria does it early to force that flash and keep the flash available for Pace. So it's just these little optimizations that are just so smart. If they both flash, Kalist is going to flash there anyway. It doesn't accomplish anything. Look at the buy for Kalist, by the way. It's a refillable, and that is just horrible. It is a bit of a horror. It has been a tough day in the 2v2 for them in general, and Oner is now down here with no flash on Varus.
Yeah, Yike is here as well, though, going for a little bit of a defensive play. There's the flash flag and drag, but the Xin Zhao is there to meet them. Kallisto just getting taken down. It's going to be first blood over to Oner. Yike trying to make sure that they can at least get one back, but he is dead as well. Busio running for the hills, and it's a 2-for-1 for T1.
That's really well done by T1. I think some junglers would have made the mistake there of actually EQ flashing, and then they would lose out on the flag and drag damage.
Yeah.
It was actually critical to flash first in that situation. They needed the additional damage there from Oner, and he knew it. If the jungler is there and I EQ flash in, I will just die. So instead, he flash flag and drag, gets the full damage onto the Varus, Pays is free hitting the whole time. Even though they focus down Oner, it's not a fight that KC can win from that spot. And it's just these little optimizations that you always love to watch when you're watching the best players in the world, right? They just have so much thought.
Oh dear, Busio is just dead. In the meantime, Pays in a little bit of trouble, but obviously Faker is here, and he's looking to try and lock down the kill onto Kalist. He'll get there, 100 health on Pays. That is just enough to keep him pushing this lane, and T1 close to a 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes.
Yeah, that is really rough stuff here, especially, when you are going Varus and Nico, you're thinking you're going to have a pretty strong 2v2, but things went so bad so early. So here's that earlier play. Like I said, he knows Kalist has no flash. He's not going to go for an EQ flash. Instead, flag drag, so he gets that full damage down onto Kalist, focusing him down, even with Yike in position, reading the play. it just didn't matter because Owner got his full damage out, kites well and creates space for Pays.
Yeah, the fire kick as well
hitting.
from Keria was amazing to make sure that the Xin Zhao value is just not going to quite be there. As we have a look at this play as well, as Busio just taking too much.
Yeah, Busio was scrapping too hard there, absolutely. And as soon as the Tangle Barbs misses, as soon as that root misses, well, now you have nothing, right? And Pays just dashes right past that E and gets right in on him. You can see definitely not looking too happy is Kalist as they are just getting blasted right now. And Yike is going to come down and try to help him out, but he is spotted. Owner is still in the area.
Yeah.
And this bot lane cannot breathe.
Yeah, clears the ward, but now you've got Jarvan moving down. They know exactly where Yike is. He knows that he's seen. As Doran taking a lot of damage here as well. There's the Ghoulie wall down, and Canna should be able to get this solo kill, but the Q comes in, finds the boulder, and will be able to get rid of the Yorick. In the meantime, Faker very close to death as well, but that solo kill from Canna might be a bit of hope back for KC.
Yeah,
What is happening? Yeah, okay, that's a bit of extra money as Tibbers did a fair bit of work there to Faker.
I kind of want to see the top lane again because look how many minions are there. That was like a triple stacked wave.
Yeah.
That he just died on. That is
And
brutal.
there's no cannon to soak this either, so he's going to lose so many of these.
He legit lost almost a full like 2 waves at least, I think, on that play. So it's not just a solo kill. The first death is often not as big of a deal in top lane, but when you die with no TP and the wave is at your tower, that can be game ruining because look at the experience difference.
Yeah.
It's a full level off of that. That is not a fake 1 level lead. That is a full level that Kana has. Kana's going to have more minions coming back towards him. And so now, Doran, you can get into that tough spot where it's like, as Yorick, if you don't win sides, you very quickly get to, what do I do in this game? Like, what is my point?
And Nara is very good in side lanes, but also a fantastic team fighter as well. We know that Doran can make things work in team fights on a lot of champions. His team fight Olaf, for example, some of the best that we've ever seen. Yorick is a difficult one to make work, but if there's anyone that can do it, it's probably Doran. But hey, if you're watching MSI, you might as well get rewarded for it. Azael, head over to lolesports.com after you've finished work, log in with your Riot ID, and watch live for a chance to earn MSI 2026 drops. And Isaac, you can do that. Maybe just put your phone over to the side or something like that. You're not allowed to do it while you're working, and I'm watching. Okay. You haven't actually reached for it though, so I don't know why I'm being mean. Let's have a look at this little fight towards the top side though, as the Narback is beautiful onto Doran. He does have some ghoulies here, but he is just going to be dropped down, and that is a beautiful play from KC. I think playing towards your winning lane is a great way out of this initial slump that they have had. And that is certainly going to be working out for them as Keria trying to be annoying here in this bottom lane, but they do manage to protect the back from the Varus.
Yep, that is well done. As Tibbers is going to be dropped again. Yehu just kind of doing this on repeat, trying to use it just to chunk him out. I will say, small win for Doran is that at least he didn't have the Maiden out, so you don't lose a Maiden. It actually sucks so much when you die early on in the game and you lose that Maiden. So now he did summon it up. He's going to try to reset that wave because he needs to get it in to Crash. And he will be able to do that because he has that power of the Maiden. You can see him backing off now to try to preserve its health. As Owner is up here on that top side, but Yehu doing a good job with the bear, scout him out.
Yeah, or with the Annie, because obviously it's reverse Annie, so that is Annie that Tibbers is going to be dropping as Pays in a really uncomfortable position, but Relentless Pursuit is going to be used against its namesake and gets him out of there. When it becomes Lightning, Keria taking a little bit of damage there, but KC on the front foot once again. And I really like this. I feel like KC have just not been perturbed by the difficult early game towards the bottom side, and have just got back on that front foot, playing around their spikes as best they can. And now Pays could be in a little bit of trouble.
He could. We'll see. Keria is around and is level 6, so it would be tough to knock him down. With all the summoners available and the Breath of Life, you would have to be really on point with your engage. So it's a risky play to go for KC, and they do know it. So they will play back for now. Doran obviously in a really tough spot. If you're Doran, your job is get farm, protect the tower, don't die.
Yep.
And that is it. You're no longer playing for trades. You're no longer playing for anything in the 1v1. Just get in the backpack. Let the teammates who have that lead get the job done.
I feel like Doran throughout his career has been very good at that. Very good at the get in the backpack.
Goes right up in there.
Oh, he does. He fits real nicely as Busio taking a lot of damage. When becomes Lightning, going to miss as there's the culling from Pays. He's spacing beautifully. As Busio taking a lot of damage himself, as that's a relentless pursuit in from Pays at the result of that play, and Carrier throws down the ulti. He was holding on to that one, but he still takes so much from the piercing arrow.
Owner's here.
In the meantime, exactly right. If you start that fight, you're going to have to make sure you finish it quickly, otherwise T1 will rotate over. But Owner is going to be taking a lot of damage here. There's a Cataclysm. He finds a flag and drag towards Kalist, but he has a brilliant barrier to keep him alive. But T1 also absolutely fine. Yehu in this mid lane doing a lot of damage to Faker and holding him in the lane. That is the main thing. As a teleport behind is looking to try and finish this one off. Yeah. Gets himself out of there as Yike just gets destroyed by Pays. Gets over the wall, picks up the double encounter. Can he protect this? 1 versus 3. His health bar is massive. We're looking at Faker going down potentially here in this mid lane, but T1, they get away.
That fire kick was looking pretty ultra mega to me. He knocks him back and
also
wastes all
denies
his
the
time.
back, but the next one is Yehu finds a solo volo onto Faker and doesn't take the turret shot. I think he thought he was dead, but just barely gets out of turret range and stops that last shot from happening.
This is such a huge win for T1 though. Look at Doran, he gets the push in the wave, he's gonna get a plate, Kana TP's away, and that one ultra mega fire kick there from Carrier just completely denies the play. Pays flashing on top of Yike, getting inside of the ultimate there, bursting him down.
God.
Just knowing his limits so precisely is what is always so impressive about seeing his fighting.
Not to mention the fact that this is the Lucian, right? You have to be playing like this, right on the edge, in order to eke out the amount of damage to get value out of this champion. Pays has been devastating on this pick before, and he is demonstrating that right here at MSI. Feels like one of his best tournaments that he has had. Everyone remembers that 28 kill Kalista game. This guy is pretty comfortable here as Busio looking for an angle towards Doran. He does get locked down with those tangle barbs. He's kind of looking for an angle, but Doran is going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Kana had a very optimistic Gnar that he threw the ult over onto Owner, but Owner was already out of there. And if he had his ult there, I think they do kill Doran. So unfortunately, won't be able to get it. And now Owner and Carry up here to protect him. And look at Pays. No one is down there answering Pays, so he is going to be able to grab that first tower. They're already up 2K here. And congratulations to Owner, who has now moved to third all-time on that wins list here. And I'm assuming that is international as he passes Xiaohu, one of the all-time greats from the LPL.
And Faker, Carrier, and Owner. So it is 3 players on T1 that have the most wins at international events, and then Cooper and Caps
turns out
after Xiaohu as well.
More world championships than like everyone else combined.
Yeah.
You do play some games and win some too.
And Faker's like basically 100 ahead, 98 ahead of Carrier. The problem for Carrier is that every time he gets a win, Faker does too. That gap is never closing.
Yeah.
It's like wanting to get older than your older brother. It just doesn't ever really work. As all right, Owner is going to be able to take down this Drake. That is going to be the second one locked in, and it's a Hextech Soul this game as well. A scary one for KC to be staring down the barrel of, but they are not going to react to it. They are just going to kill Doran again. That's going to be their plan, as Doran does find a bit of health back with that Q, and actually it's taking a while to kill him. Canna will be able to do it, but it does take a little bit of time. 3-0 here. Like, all of the eggs are in the Gnar basket.
They absolutely are, and it is a good basket to have. It is the ultimate comfort champ here for Kana. We'll see if he can get something done in this game. Busio just playing towards that lane, gets up towards the top side, does get them a kill, but even with the 1.4k gold lead that he has, they are so far behind. Kalist is just going to be useless this game. You know, down over 2,000 gold here at 13 minutes is really, really tough, but you know, you got to say, Yehu has been doing pretty darn well.
Yep.
You look back to last game and the advantages he was able to build. You know, this was his performance last game, 7-2-7, putting out a ton of damage. You know, was winning in that lane very slightly as well. And then this time coming back on the ante, gets a solo kill onto Faker, and does have that ever so tiny gold advantage, but in a position to maybe be that person to try to punish Pays.
Well, this is a weird situation here, as kind of does take that very deep Hextech gate in order to get into the enemy jungle. That is going to buy space to try and kill Doran again, is what I'm seeing. Yeah, who moving on down here? There are Yeah, there are a lot of plates up and available. Doran takes more than half of his health bar from a bear drop. But now T1 looking for a fight on the opposite side. The culling just thrown into Busio and Kalist, and Busio looks to be the target here. This Doran is dead once again, but is the cross-map play available for T1? And Ona says absolutely it is. Fire kick going to connect, and Kalist just needs another double tap as the Light Slinger will be able to take down the Varus. So 1-for-1 across the map here as Doran moves to 0-4. But that's a 3-0 for Pays.
Yeah, and Pays is the one getting all the gold. He is so strong. They're going to look for Ona, though.
Yeah, and they will find him. Ona doesn't have a lot of friends in the area, and he knows that he's dead. So a weird position for the Jarvan to be.
It is, but he just wasn't expecting them all to stay around. And the reason they are staying around is, guess what? No one is answering top, no one is answering mid. So not that bad. Because KC committed everyone to overstay on bot side to try to get that. But that does mean Faker kills the tower up in top lane, Pays gets plates and denies some minions in mid lane. So even though they get the kill, it doesn't actually change the gold lead really at all.
And now Yehu might just be dead as Pays forces the flash. My goodness, the damage out of this 2-item Lucian is absurd. Quick Blade's done. And yeah, it's only going to get worse from here as he's going to be building towards his Infinity Edge.
And Doran, unironically, I mean, this is working, going at Doran over and over and over, but he's not really worth any gold anymore. And you can see in the Coinbase gold grind, Pays very, very far ahead now, nearly 3,000 gold ahead of Kalist, who is down 40 CS, down a bunch of kills, down a bunch of plates, down in everything. And it's going to be the strong members on KC's job to try to deal with Pays. But that is always so hard when there's an enchanter behind a giga-fed AD carry, right? Because Keria is going to be there to protect him with the Breath of Life. He has the barrier, he has the cleanse, and he has Doran and Owner and Faker who are there to basically just keep him safe.
Yeah, and Yike taking so much damage. He flashes in to get the knock-up onto Pays, but he gets himself out. He's got the ulti from Keria to keep him alive as Yike goes in, but Doran just beating that front line. The knock comes back though as Canna turns up. Faker on the flank angle is able to take down the jungler as a Pop Blossom only picks up Ona, and Ona doesn't really care about that. The dash forward from Pays, and they will be able to lock down that kill. On the opposite side though, I mean, it is a 2-for-2 trade between the two squads. KC going to be okay with it, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I would say they should be really happy with that. The fact that he got flash as well off of Pays, yeah, Busio dies, but being able to get flash off of Pays is worth his life. That is worth its weight in gold. As Yike goes in here, Pays and Keria kind of flexing on him, but Yayu was there very early, so he's able to push them back. Keria has to flash out. Doran gets rooted up by that Chains of Corruption, and in comes Kana, so they're able to burst him down, finish him off, and look at Busio on the side. I don't think Pays really recognized that he was coming until very late, had to flash after that Protobelt play from Busio. They barely kill Faker before he Realm Warps out on the side, but even though it's an even trade of kills, even though Pays is still way ahead, you now have a window in to potentially actually kill Pays because he has no barrier, no flash. You have flash on Kana, and that is kind of who you are looking at now.
Yeah.
And you put all of this effort into getting Kana ahead. He has 6 kills.
He is massive.
2.6k. If he can find a flash ult.
Ooh, good flash from Ona. And that is the ult that you were talking about. Could have been enough to take down Ona, and that would have been really good to locking down this dragon. But still, KC with the inside track. And Doran, he's got teleport, but he is just moving towards that top side, getting the Maiden to work on the inner turret potentially. And it looks like T1 will sacrifice this Drake. And the power of the double dragon for T1 is very, very strong. Yeah. Because now they can use it to get control of this mid lane. They've also got the Yorick moving towards the top side. So a Drake sacrifice for so much more on T1's side.
For basically 2 full towers is what they're going to get here. And they're actually looking for a charge on the 3rd one as well. Pays is going to drive this in, which always makes me a little bit nervous, but
he's very young.
Numbers aren't around.
Oh, they're not able to actually get the charge, and Pays is in a very uncomfortable position, but is able to dash his way out. Close to a 4,000 gold lead for just the Lucian.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, as we're going to see Doran getting stopped, and maybe Doran dying, or at least having a flash.
Yeah, he is going to be able to flash out of the way. Goalie wall is going to go down, and so he is going to be able to get himself back. So still, I mean, getting a flash out of the arc going to be fantastic, but T1... 3.5k the gold advantage, and you're looking at the top of your screen, you're like 9-9, this game is very close, but at 18.5 minutes, 3.5k is no small lead.
Especially if you can concentrate it all on who I would say is the world's best team fighting AD carry. Right
Yeah,
now. That's not a bad place to put all your gold.
And that's exactly where all of it and more is, as far as the lead is concerned. 3.6 is a big one. And I do want to also talk about how these compositions are going to meet up later on and how it works out for T1 in their favor, because the biggest problem for late game team fights, in my opinion, is Kalist, because he's going to outrange kind of everyone. The problem is, he is the one that's 0-3. He is the one that's massively in the hole, and all of the money is on Kana, who is just decidedly short range into a Rise and a Lucian. They're going to be doing so much damage later on from about the range that Nana wants to be playing in.
And that's why, I mean, with Kalist completely out of the game, it is all about your engage tools, right? It is about Flash Tibbers. It is about Flash Meganar. It is about Flash Pop Blossom. And it is about really coordinating on that where everyone goes in and you're hoping to one-shot Pays at the very beginning of the fight. If you can do that, you can easily win a fight, but that is a very hard thing to do. T1 have the run of the map. They are going to be marking you, on all these angles. They're going to be warding everything out, and they're going to be playing around keeping Pays safe here. So Pays needs to play well, but we're expecting him to do it.
Well, Busio finds the pop, well, almost finds the Pop Blossom, and now the Realm Warp just to try and get themselves into the fight. That is a brilliant start for KC, though, as Owner is just dead immediately. Faker follows suit, and T1 bit off more than they could chew. The Flash Gnar, and down goes Pays, massive shutdown, and of course that money goes to the now legendary Kana.
Yeah, that's a 1K going to Kana there, as they're going to go straight to the Baron, and they're going to get the Baron here for free. This is crazy. The Realm Warp there was suicidal from Faker.
It was.
They take the Realm Warp in, but Yahoo has all his abilities. You're Realm Warping into the end. He's stunned. You still have to pay some respect to the damage that they can do. Yahoo had killed him, but it was just Busio. Everyone else had everything available there.
And it was
Faker
Yikes,
and Oda's just going to die.
Yeah, and Yike with the Crescent Guard as well. They Realm Warp in, and then immediately they're just thrown around like ragdolls, and they get even further away, even more disconnected from Carrier and Pays. Let's have a look at it one more time as it started off so nicely for T1.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play here. Busio just gets locked into the Cataclysm, tries to flash out late to try to get on Pace, can't do it, and they're like, oh, we win. But Kana arrives, and they are Realm Warping into every ability. Chains of Corruption is up, Crescent Guard is up, Kana is there, Tibbers is available. Everything is there. You're not that tanky at this point. It's not as though you're going in and you're trying to instantly Zonias and bait the play. They just didn't have the tools to do it. And then Kana comes over, spends that flash, kills off Pays. T1 obviously still in a decent spot, but this game is even now.
Yeah,
and
it's
it was a
completely
massive
open.
lead.
And not to mention the fact that this Rebel Baron power play can be used to get themselves a second Hextech Dragon as well. And having a look here, this is KC on that comeback. T1 though, when the tempo vibes move against them, that is generally the happiest they become. As Faker, what is he doing there?
Well, he's just split pushing, and they're going to try to just trade here on the other side. Kana.
Yeah, Kana versus Pays looks to be a bit of a 1v1 battle, but Carrier is there to support. As now Yahoo is going to find Faker as well. Kana is just going to be taken down though, and Pays returns the favor and picks up the shutdown money himself. Faker is going to be able to get himself out of there, bring some minions with him, and he might even be able to eat some honey fruit.
Faker getting out safe there. But Kana is so strong. That was very scary for Pays. They actually had to spend the barrier and the ult from Carrier. Carrier flashed. He realized, hey, this could actually go bad. One or two more autos come through, another hyperproc, and maybe Pays does just get killed there by Kana, but T1 do pull it off, as they often do in these tight scenarios, and now it means they're going to get the Dragon off the back of this. They're going to move to Soul Point, and it is Hextech Soul, which is just bad news if you are a KC fan.
Doesn't feel very good. The good news is that it's not actually Soul, because they were able to deny the last one with some good team fighting themselves. It's only 1,000 gold to lead, as Busio going to try and get in amongst it here, catching anyone trying to defend this top lane push that Kalist is on. No one here in at this particular moment, but Pays once again very used to being the man with the most money on the Rift, and they certainly do. Faker with that global taunt still there, as it has been for so many years. As Owner just presses Cataclysm, gets himself out of it. That is going to buy as much space as they can get to try and keep this inner turret alive.
That was actually pretty critical that Yike had the Krugs there, because he was able to just dash out of the Cataclysm to the Krugs. Had they not been there, I think the vision that Owner had is he Cataclysms in by the tower, Faker one-shots the minions, he takes aggro, has to flash out, has to do something.
Yeah.
But instead, able to get out of there, no problem.
I've seen this play before as Pace just goes into melee range with a Mini-Gnar, and he's happy to do so. Chases him down relentlessly, and it's kind of dead yet again.
And look at bot lane as well. Meanwhile, during all of this, Dorian was just pushing.
Yeah,
He
the
took down the
0-5 Yarick having the best time of his life.
When you're 0-5 and you're down 3k on Yorick, you might not win a 1v1 against Gnar, but you know who you can win a 1v1 against? The tower.
Yeah, with minions. It's not really 1v1, but he needs his friends, and he is going to be able to bring them. Faker is also doing the same thing towards the top side. And we were talking about this. 1-3-1 is definitely a possibility here for T1, and they are showing us that it absolutely is. As they move to 2,000 gold in the lead, 3.5 minutes until the Hextech Soul is available for them.
And this time, Paze made it look easy killing off Kana because his culling was much better than the previous fight.
Yeah.
He was point blank, he got so much culling value, and culling just does ridiculous DPS. You know, at this stage in the game, when you have the IE and now he's working in towards that LDR, Kana will be paper. There's no one that can tank the culling whatsoever except Yike with Crescent Guard. Like, that is it. Anyone else is getting hit by that thing. You need the Crescent Guard, you need, Tibbers to be blocking, you need Busio's clones. Something must be blocking this culling or you are going to just straight up die.
And or you can interrupt it, right? Interrupting it sounds like a pretty good idea as well, but there were no options there for Canner in Mini-Gnar form in order to make that one work. So Paze level 14 now on this Lucian, Infinity Edge in hand. And now just looking for even more damage as Armor Pen going to come in next.
Yeah, and I mean, Kalista at least does have 3 items, so that's something working for him. He is relevant. He's still way behind Paze, but when you look at everyone else, 3 items is a real threat, right?
Yeah.
If he gets the hit, he will not be weak, as Dorian does have to run for the hills. But Faker also, his row just popped, so he's almost 16, and he almost has the Actualizer. And we already know that is scary times there. The Rise can start to delete teams, when you hit that item spike. And then all of a sudden, you're in a position where, as KC, you must kill Paze at the start of the fight to even have a chance. But if you full send every ultimate, every flash, every ability into Paze to do it, well, Faker might just wipe you.
Yeah. And Faker, thankfully for KC as far as his team fights, Faker has decided that he wants to play A-Rat this game. He is just top lane. That's what he's doing.
Tower?
Yeah, all random, all towers, all top lane, is what I was kind of thinking. It's not really the version that I'm used to, but I do kind of like it. Faker has been playing for a long time, so he knows all of the versions. Hayes now sitting in the mid lane, and we'll be able to clear out that wave. The Baron going to be up in 17 seconds time. I believe T1 have that one on the mind, as they are T1. They always think about Baron. That is the thing. And Yike actually is going to get dashed on by Paze. The Crescent Guard comes in as they look to try and use Owner to peel, and down he will go to the GA. Yeah, who is just dead in an instant. You were mentioning the DPS on the culling, and my God, T1 are just going to mow them down. The Narn to 4 from the grave. That one was a little bit...
Are we really using the burst?
I guess.
$150.
Nice. Healing. I don't read. 180. That's 100. I swear this guy, this guy clicks is so zero.
90.
50.
$25.
60. 100 on that. I'm up. I got 120.
I haven't got it yet.
Got it. Yeah, donor.
On to you.
Oh, are we coming? Yeah. Full Lux. I got one pumped, bro. Oh, this hold. You're him, bro. Good shit. That's right, he's trying to like double you. Yeah.
40. I go up.
Mine's like lurking, brother. Yeah, I've done nothing. He's done nothing. He shot 3 to fish. Got hit.
100.
Might be dead. 100. I'm good. I'm alive. 130. You're up a lot of them.
AR or VR?
Nah, I mean we're like even, but you're up a lot yourself. You're up like 100 more than us. That's it. So you could like lead burst shots.
That's
Nice. I'm just like 30. Just trying to look for you. I'm just spraying him. Putting 50 white, 50 white. He's on the right hand, trying to angle. Spraying your shit.
he's lurking left.
I have 0 AR bullets.
Need ammo? Here.
Yeah. He just lurked. I hear him, I hear him, I hear him. He's reloading right under me. Like, it's just like this side. Is it under? It's not under. It's on this ramp. It's on this ramp. He's holding this ramp. No, like up here. It has to be. On the right? Okay. I'm on you, I'm on you. Okay, nice shit. I swear I heard him reloading.
I think he did, but he
I think he crouched back. Yeah, I swear. He's not hearing fake reloads.
on click.
Nice.
Dead.
Nice, I got it. I'm playing still. Playing light. He's trying to drop it on me. I'm all the way back on you.
See?
Nice. Trying to run at me?
Okay.
Front side white.
Front side wide as well.
Your hand. Yeah. I was like so confused. Reed just does like, he plays so different than Clicks. I think they swap kids again.
Yeah.
I think it's Reed on me. Yeah.
You're on click.
Yeah, I got it on her.
He's lurking on you. 98 on yours.
Nice. Oh, I got hit 150.
Hi Fisher. You need full heals or
Yeah, I'm
no?
going. No, I'm good. Kinda has like our left side a little. There's a cone in there. Yeah. Watch your back.
78.
50 on clicks. 100 on read.
Cut.
Nice room. Thanks though. Running at you. I'm here. You're him, bro. Shit. Yeah, they're gonna keep swapping because like Breach is getting damn on me, but I don't know he's coming in.
We're literally 20 feet. Get
Okay,
50.
he's giving me bills. Yeah, take.
Drop, that's low.
Yeah.
Back up.
I'm kind of low. Are you trying to run at me? I kind of gave up left side again. Out of pump clicks. 100? 94 on clicks. He has to be one.
I'll lurk on Reed.
Yeah. 48 white on click. Dead.
1 HP on Reed, 1 HP on Reed. I got
I'm
action.
not finished. Shut up. Dead. Sorry, I'm 25 white. Dead. Nice, bro.
Bullets.
Yeah. Shit. Dude, I don't know. Reed's like his playstyle is so weird. I don't even know how you were shitting on him. What were you doing? Like, were you playing aggro on him back?
I had it on him, hit harder. It's not that good.
Yeah, he's not. He's playing weird.
Under on click.
I got 150.
Hey, you're at 40.
Nice. I'm gonna get him off you. Nice.
50 on one. Watch out, mine's looking at you.
Yeah, I'm about to give up left again.
Side right.
Yeah.
One. Long at it. You just need to get
Yeah.
on that thing. Take wood, Matt.
Yeah.
Try.
My wall is in place. All good.
I don't know
First
how
one.
that shot's only 70.
Yeah, I don't know either. Should
Let's do
ADS
that.
maybe?
Nah, I don't think it is. So lucky. $50.
100 on mine? You traded down.
100 total. Dude, he's so bad.
100 in that box. Full box. He's not. He's still healthy.
Shit, so
Nice
bad.
room. I know. Azure clicks is terrible, bro. He's so bad.
And 75
Yeah.
total.
Good shit.
Oh, damn.
100 on man.
Shot.
150. Broke so much. You need fish? Yeah.
$38 on yours.
Nice. He's really low. Money.
Box. I think.
Remember. I did.
Dude, this guy is
100.
fucking idiot, bro. It's so funny.
Dead.
Nice.
Problem fish.
Sometimes it's actually
Oh, mini.
the way you be moving like shit.
I know. I mean, when you have no aim in mechanics, that's what you have to do. Swing down. He's in a 50 me.
He's correct.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, he's so bad.
He, like, I can't hit him because he's just a monkey, bro.
Literally.
He just tacks for a million circles.
Uh-huh.
I got fucked. Nice. Reese is playing hella aggro on me. You got my wall. Watch your back. He is like this left side. You're good. I'm on back.
He's like low round. He's fourth buff.
Yeah. $50. I'm really low.
Mine's one low. The 170.
Kind of lurking on low. Okay. Drop a lot of damage on this. One's low ground, it sounds like. I'm gonna lurk. Lurk. Watch your back. I have a really good lurk. It's not that good.
He's looking for you. He's on my feet.
50 on read.
He's got reach. 5.
Nice.
20 on 6. Oh,
Nice.
they're both one. They're both full one. Not even drawn.
Okay. We're all one then. I have 6 builds. They're probably low on mats too.
Are they dropped?
Yeah, I'm like staring at it. Oh, he's lurking on me. I should have seen that. All good. Nice room. That as well. Got hit hard. $25. $38. Sitting behind the ground. Got my wall. Nice. I see him. Like on low ground ramps there.
You guys? That's not white. Full one.
Yeah, he's just on my wall. Up. Yep. No chances.
I'm spraying with a burst from the other side of the low ground.
The burst is so gay. $100, $150. Dead. Nice. Nice, very crazy.
Need anything?
I need to heal. Pump fish.
Block everything.
I'm here. I'm gonna pump him. 100. He's in.
I'm not white.
Yeah, I need to heal. Pump me. He got reach
Big
fish.
fish.
Yeah.
Here.
I see him lurking. He's on the right. Got a wall. 25 white, 50 white, 75 white. Good. Dude, that pre-fire was so beautiful. So well. That was actually perfect.
Oh, yeah.
They pulling?
I doubt it.
No way. We just slammed the shit out of them. They won 2 rounds. They're terrible.
Alright, Fortnite has added the Shock Rocks, as you can see Pixie using right now, and it has changed the meta quite a lot. There's a lot of different ways that players are using these, so I want to jump into Pixie and Swizzy, who ended up winning the most recent Divisional Cup, to show you how you're using them and how it's totally changed the Storm meta and just the general rotation meta. Alright, so if you watch any of my videos, you'll already know what the main meta has been and why mid-map POIs are so good. I'm going to explain it extremely quickly for people who don't know, but you'll see in this game, Pixie and Swizzy here, for example, if I scroll forward, zone pulls in here. Now this is the 3rd zone, has just appeared, and as you notice, this is the point where they stay inside. You go into the storm, and then if you go all the way back here, you'll see that, you know, they stay in the storm really deep here, and then the next zone pulls, it pulls back to them, and they are deep in this side, and they can play the storm all the way, which means that they can basically get into the side, which is here's the dead side, where there's way less players. Fun enough, because there's so many people doing this, right? This here would be the congested side, because there's a lot of players who didn't play the storm, but there's actually been so many other teams who are doing this strat. There's still quite a few teams around them. But of course, basically the main benefit here is that for like 2 zones, you can kind of just stay away from people and not get tagged for any damage by playing the storm. And then you also have the opportunity to go here, right? So as you can see, this is maybe a better example. You get into dead side here where there's no one, less people, gives you easier rotations to every other zone. That's the theory. That's what people are doing basically all year. The big flaw with this is, of course, storm sickness. You can only take 600 damage in total to the storm before you actually start getting it inflicted and then start taking damage. So I have a nifty calculator I actually made here to kind of show you why the specific timings on this are so good. So as you noticed, by the end of the 2nd zone here, right? So I put enter the zone in the 3rd zone here, and then leave the zone in the 5th zone. You'll notice the number particular is 5:27:5. So basically, if they enter when the 3rd zone appears, and then when the 5th zone is over, so basically when the 6th zone appears, they'll take 525 storm damage total, which means they have 75 damage left to play with to play storm in the end game. And that's pretty much basically what they did here. As you notice, storm pops up into the 3rd. They're here in this first game, and then they're basically in storm there until the end, basically the very end of the 5th zone. So in this particular match, which was game number 1 of this tournament, this is like the old meta, air quotes, that I'm just showing you. And you can see it basically leaves you with 75 storm damage roughly. That's only 7 or 8 seconds in endgame though, which really is not that much time. So this basically right here, what I'm highlighting is the old meta in air quotes. And I'm going to come back to this later, but I just want you to really keep in mind this like 525 and like 75 damage left, as it will become quite relevant later on. Alrighty, so we're landing Battlewood Boulevards, and of course, as we already know, yeah, I've kind of shown you from that already, this is somewhat close to the center of the map. Of course, one of the problems, if you're, say, for example, Lefty Lodge, Wonky Team, all these kind of things, is that if you pull a far zone, you will take storm damage earlier. So, of course, this kind of 525 number is basically not really possible. You can't tank storm in the same kind of way. What a lot of teams do is rotate out very early and then have to go back. It's a whole pain. Right now, of course, them landing Battlewoods, it's close enough to the middle map. Talked about this a lot. Chest number 1, Pixie manages to get the Shock Rocks already. Now, because there's actually a team contesting them, they basically just get together. Let me just skip forward a bit. They essentially just get together, pop one, and then can use the triple jump to just entirely flank right over the back of them. It doesn't actually make a huge amount of difference, like in the way that this fight actually started off, but you'll notice they very quickly are able to jump onto Isafir, who's only got 9 builds, right? Kind of just complete shock right off the rip, and he's just getting 1v2 down in the basement. Very awkward spot to fight. Continually getting a bunch of turn shots on. His teammates also trying to get back to him and run around. But you can kind of see like the huge disparity in loot, right? Like 30 builds, 28 in comparison to like 10 and now 2 from Isaf. So because they're able to use the Shock Rocks to get onto them and to fight them really fast, they just immediately have the advantage. So he's of course been a little goat. He doesn't even kill. I thought he was going to get the goat. And just get the second deal. Yeah, so they basically just wipe the team off spawn straight away just by flying straight onto their head. Slightly less relevant, but also equally as important important note is that the Lancehead pistol will make a return this game. If you've watched my previous video, you'll know that everyone's just going to use it and macro it because it's not all max, so they're going to make it all max. It's the highest DPS in the game. So you will notice in this match, Swizzy's not the only one. All of a sudden, there's a massive uptick, sorry, in people using this weapon. What a surprise. Who would have thought? Me and literally everyone else. So after looting, they have tons of gold. Tons and tons. You can't just see how much, but all of them have tons of gold. The Pixie gets a bunch of the medkit that he's been carrying back and chucks them onto this south building here. I can't remember if they just bought all of them. Yeah, I think they just bought more here. They've been kind of juggling them as they go. Pixie, my god, can you please throw this so I can continue this commentary? Buys 3 chug jugs and then also throws them into this exact same building as well. You'll notice here on the roof, kind of stacked with heals already off the rip. He also has 2 more, as you can see in the inventory, and then also Swizzy found one as well. So they have what, 5 chug jugs off the rip, and then also 2 stacks of medkits going onto that roof as well. Now you can also see here that Swizzy just purchased 2 of the shock rocks as well. I don't think he has enough gold to buy like full 4 stack or whatever. He's also got 2 of them here. That 2 now is going to chop into the roof of this building, and then they're going to create basically a little spot or all of their heals to go. Like, this is kind of insane. Leaving everything behind here, all of the medkits, all of the chug jugs, all of the extra mobility items, and there's the medkits very nicely falling down as I say that, which again they will come back to later on. I mean, this spot is so insane. The fact that Pixie, like, I was going to say, still has enough gold to go and buy other stuff. He didn't actually end up having more gold there. Again, because they wiped the team off spawn, they have some early surge. Then they also have, like, nobody looting the entire of this POI, which gives them so much gold, which just gives them the ability to buy all of these, of course, medkits, and rotation options too from the vending machines. Okay, now, back to the surge strategy. As we all know from this position, this is kind of similar to the first match that I showed you on Assyrian earlier, where at this point, right, this is where they allowed the storm to take them, and so they could run away. However, if you actually notice, what they do here is absolutely not that whatsoever. Is that they actually leave the POI. They have this room with all of the extra heals, as we've kind of already shown, and you'll see that they end up just running away. So leaving all of that behind and just running away to the zone. You'll see now, the next zone is kind of south of them here, and they've just basically tarped in. Gotten all this brick from, you know, just in this small spot, just so they don't waste anything. And then they just, like, sit here entirely AFK. Like, they got here at 9:19, and I'm just going to skip forward. So you can see now it's almost 2 minutes later, and they've literally sat in this box and done nothing. That's, of course, because they're just waiting now until the 4th zone. So this is after the 4th zone wait, and this is about to be when the 4th zone shrink pops up. And as you notice, when I start to skip forward, the zone then cuts them in, and then they run back into Battlewood. So rather than doing what they did in the first game, and what a lot of the other teams are doing, is that they start tanking Storm somewhere near the start of the 3rd zone. Instead, if I change this to a 4, and then change this to Shrink, you'll see that they now actually take 305 Storm damage, and, you know, as they're only taking like a zone and a half, basically, worth of actual Storm. You see now that they take 305 Storm damage, which means they have 295 Storm damage left before they get Storm Sickness, as they're only taking like a zone and a half, right? This 4th zone Shrink, and then of course also they had like the 5th zone Wait and Shrink as well. So you see they run back to that big box of heals that they had. Now, I will say, obviously, they're very aware that someone could camp on them here. This is very counterable. Like, I imagine after this week, whether I'd made this video or not, like, people would obviously just figure this out and see what they're doing and wait for them to leave and then just grab all of the loot, because it's just going to be in the same spot almost every single time. But now you finally see, again, the shock rocks have been picked up. So basically now they can play the heals. So he's using one of the chugs because they have a bunch of extra ones, so they just might as well. Pixie starts popping one of the medkits. He can carry a lot of the rest as well. So that means that he's got the shock rocks in his inventory now, which is just about to drop in a second, as we'll see. And someone actually rotating past it. You just saw some footprints there. He's wondering if they're camping on the mending machine, but they're actually not at all. And now it's also the 5th zone. So 5th zone is actually pulled to them, right? So from this situation, because they've only taken a very minimal amount of storm damage, even if they pull a full max zone down here, they still would have the time and the heals to rotate all the way towards it. You know, luckily in this instance, they do pull a relatively close one. So they still can basically do whatever they want with these heals. I did just miss it, but Pixie did just pop one of the shock rocks. So of course, him and Swizzy now both have the triple jump effect. Now it is time to go. So importantly, what they're carrying here is you see that Swizzy and Pixie now both have overdrive grenades. So they do not actually carry the shock rocks later into the match, as we'll see. There's quite a good reason for that later. And Pixie, because they still have gold left, he's making sure carries capped, right? So this is really, really important for the way that they play this. And then they also have an extra grenade here so that they can actually make a rotate. They actually kind of fumbled this entirely, but they can still rotate through the storm here. Now, they should be almost the most northern team. It's funny, Kaminhari is actually still behind them, but they've been able to play the storm for the longest because they've taken the least storm damage and, of course, had the most heals left behind. Zip up here, very lucky. There's like a random extra med kit here that they just found. Super convenient, but it doesn't really matter too much. It just means that they didn't have to pop like 100 of the chug. So they've just naded once more, and now at this point is when they can triple jump in. So if there's anyone like camping at the edge of storm here, like say if you were someone in this, or if you're in these boxes or whatever, you know, you're probably going to be looking towards teams who are nading, and that nade effect is really loud, right? The audio is very obvious. So you can turn around and hold them. But in this instance, they can just use the triple jump to get in and to land straight into zone. And now because the zone actually pulls over to this side, right? They have the option then just to rotate straight down again or go in any this way. They actually timed it exactly when the zone popped up, so they could figure out like the best spot to land if possible. Now, of course, they heal. They've got the extra med kit, and they just use one of the chug jugs to heal up. So after this strat, right, they've got 160 chug, a 200 chug, 5 nades, 6 nades, that medkit's about to be gone, and a full chug jug left as well. But what's very important for how they play their end games is that they've only taken 305 storm damage, whereas most other teams in this exact like same scenario, they might have done something like this, as we already know, which is like 525. So they can't really play the storm that much in the end game whatsoever. Now, because they have so many nades, actually, before I say that, Swizzy gets a nice little fill here, waiting on Telechus, absolute max damage. Wish you could see the damage, but replay mode is absolutely bugged. Teammates there. They get a nice refresh before moving. They already had a ton of nades, but now they've got even more. So they're like super capped again. What this means is they don't have to use those like risky slides. They can just continue like nade box, nade box, nade box. I'm saying this well knowing that Swizzy's about to almost die and go down to 1 HP on this rotate. I didn't see how he did it when I watched back through taking some of the notes. So the nade here, Insta just gets beamed. And then gets beamed again. So lucky he survives this, by the way. Look at the HP. If this is me at this point, I'm screaming like, oh, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, it's over. Lucky they stopped building. Did a nice little defensive box fight. Pixie did a good job creating a bunch of space so that they stop spraying, and then he can get healed up. And that's why having a million chug jugs is so useful. Nice little kill on Twine in the backside, who was weak. Don't think they're actually able to get a huge amount of loot for it. No, not reading it. But here, they can take a little storm, right? That was like 15 damage to storm. Doesn't really matter. Rax is boxed up next to him. He managed to get yet another elim from that too. So that's another refresh onto his materials here. So doing a really good job of actually just getting a bunch of elims before moving zones. I feel like one of the things that these teams really struggle with, I mean, in most of the tournaments, we're not seeing them do well, is just they just don't frag whatsoever. But this tournament in particular, they had a lot of eliminations, which is great. They also just didn't play height, which you'll see in endgame as well. I mean, I don't think they played it every game, or didn't play every game. I've not watched every single match, but a lot of times I saw these teams play historically. Like, I don't know, their mid and low ground wasn't particularly that good, but in this game, at least it very much so was. Now, again, they have cap nades again. I mean, even if they didn't get those refreshes, they still would have had a ton. And this means that in endgame, they can be, like I said, relatively safe with them here. So they're kind of the last team to rotate now. Zone pops. Swizzy nades both of them together. And then they don't have to do like a super risky ton of slides. They can just, you know, one little slide jump, box, get back together. All right, so they nade again. Something similar. A lot of times in these scenarios, right, in these kind of like 8 zones, 6 zones, when you're not in like a super great spot, it's really common for players to get split, right? As you can see, they're not really in the same box, so they're kind of close to each other. In this scenarios, this is what's so good about having so many nades at this point, right? Obviously, they kept the nades left because they ended up using some of the super jump from the short rocks earlier in that rotate. And of course, they got good refreshes, so it slightly doesn't matter too much. But now they can just kind of rotate individually and then make sure they get back together at the end of the moving zone. All right, so they made a nice early rotate right here into the 8th zone. And as you notice, 5 seconds left. And this is now where it's very important that they didn't take the storm damage earlier. Zone starts to pull to their west. So they kind of tarped in a little bit, as you can see here. So they're kind of in this green mark here. And the zone ends up pulling this direction. The zone pulled from this way, so it's coming in and then to the right. However, now because they do not take as much storm damage, now they can play storm in endgame, hence with all the chugs that they have earlier. So they nade, push themselves into the storm. This is kind of like north side, as you can see here. Like, so they've naded from here up, and now because again they have so many nades left, they can nade in this direction as well. You can see they can sit and then play the chugs. Unfortunately, they did actually get spotted there, so the play kind of got ruined a little bit, but they've also now just been able to get straight to the edge, and they're also now on expanding side. Shout out to the TS Classic, expanding my brain onto expanding side knowledge here, but being on this side of the zone, when it opens up this edge, and they're also now on from this way, so it's coming in. it's really common for players to get split, right? As you can see, they're not really in the same box, so they're kind of close to each other. In this scenario, this is what's so good about having so many nades at this point, right? Obviously, they kept the nades left because they ended up using some of the super jump from the shock rocks earlier in that rotate. And of course, they got good refreshes, so it slightly doesn't matter too much. But now they can just kind of rotate individually and then make sure they get back together at the end of the moving zone. All right, so they made a nice early rotate right here into the 8th zone. And as you notice, 5 seconds left. This is now where it's very important that they didn't take the storm damage earlier. Zone starts to pull to their west. So they kind of tarped in a little bit, as you can see here. So they're kind of in this green mark here. And the zone ends up pulling this direction. The zone pulled from this way, so it's coming in and then to the right. However, now because they do not take as much storm damage, now they can play storm in endgame, hence with all the chugs that they have earlier. So they nade, push themselves into the storm. This is kind of like north side, as you can see here. Like, so they've naded from here up. And now, because again, they have so many nades left, they can nade in this direction as well. You can see they can sit and then play the chugs. Unfortunately, they did actually get spotted there, so the play kind of got ruined a little bit, but they've also now just been able to get straight to the edge, and they're also now on expanding side. Shout out to the TS Classic, expanding my brain onto expanding side knowledge here. But being on this side of the zone, when it opens up this way, from their current position here, if I zoom out here and kind of look towards where the zone would be, the zone is going to continually open up, right? Opening up over on this way. Whereas if they're on the other side, if they're on here, the zone is continually closing. So if they're tarping forward, for example, here, they're getting pushed this direction by the storm. Whereas over here, if they're kind of tarping forward, they can tarp forward and to the right and diagonally in, and the storm is opening, so it gives them a lot more time. Or they can just wait here, and then as the zone opens up, a lot of these players here, if I kind of zoom out up to the top view here, you'll see that all of these players are kind of go this way, but there's just a lot of open space here for them to kind of nade forward if they need to. Whereas if you're like sky jump, your nade is going to put you into everyone else. Whereas if you're on this side here, you're going to be able to go up into, away freely from everyone else. I can't actually remember how they rotate this. I do want to walk. You can sit and play their chug. And again, like, they still have 6 nades. It's nice. So does anyone else have anywhere near these amount of nades? Like, if I just kind of scroll through, almost everyone. Casper has 3 nades to himself. 1. Skyjump has 4. 2. None. Some shock rocks. Barely any. Chino does. Chino and Pablo have, Jesus, they have tons. It seems like they've just been fragging based on how many mats they still have and stuff. So obviously there's a lot of people who do still have nades left. But outside of Pablo and Chino, I think they basically have the most nades still left in the lobby. Now you can see here, because they're at the expanding side, look how free this nade is, right? Sure, there's one team there, but they can just kind of jump off over their head. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And now, yet again, they can tank the storm, right? That was 40 damage that Pixie just took. Just on that one little bit to claim front there. And remember, had he taken Storm earlier, he only would have 75 to work with. So he wouldn't have been able to tank Storm at the start of this moving zone, and then he wouldn't have been able to tank it here either. Well, he probably would have just been able to do that alone. That like entire rotate that they've just managed to do there would not have been possible had they played the old meta instead of like running back in and not taking Storm into the 4th zone. Also here, just a beautiful play. Look at this. Walls claimed. Deemer's Darm. Kind of looked like Darm was just running into the dead body and couldn't get past there. But look how quick they just wiped them off their lair. Great synergy. I've not seen Swizzy and Pixie play like low and mid like this and like so efficiently and so well and so long. Unfortunately, it does kind of get them stuck behind now, as you can see. And I think Swizzy does end up dying at this point. It doesn't end up being... No, it's not this point. It's way later. Sorry, take it back. Look at what they're doing now. Ignore me. All right, totally ignore what I said. That is not true at all. They're now in an awkward situation after getting those 2 refreshes, as you can see, right? If I like zoom up, they were scouting on which way they could go there, and there's really nowhere. They're just blocked. They're right at the back. They got 2 really nice refreshes. But like, this is basically the worst spot you could be in, right? Way at the back. Where do you go from here? How do you get out? How do you rotate? Well, take a guess. They still have Chug Jugs, right? They've got tons from those refreshes, and they still had some earlier because they've done a good job not taking damage. So they can play the Storm. Again, this allows them to then actually find a spot, right? They can kind of mantle their way, or not mantle, they can kind of climb their way up, get themselves a nice good spot. And again, because they still have overdrive grenades, because of how much they saved earlier, they can now just overdrive to the front side into a nice, good layer. Now, like, look how many mats they have still. We're in 11th zone, 50 and 37 builds total. Like, there's absolutely no chance anyone else has anywhere close to those amount of materials. Obviously, good refreshes, good rotate, cut off into the storm has meant that, of course, they use less materials on those rotates because they can just use the overdrive grenades. And then I do think they absolutely milk, if I remember correctly here. I could be wrong. Are they about to rotate and they just get jumped in on? Yeah. Unfortunately, Swizzy just full jumped in on right at the back. Pixie almost dies. He gets left as a solo and then, does a good job trying to survive as much as he can, but unfortunately, he also dies as well. So you might not think, well, the shock rocks didn't really sound like they did all that much in this game, but if you remember correctly, they right off the rip were able to use them to jump onto the team position, which gave them the early storm surge damage, which enables this entire strategy. You can't do this strategy if you don't actually get like a ton of damage way before this. And it also meant that here, right, for example, they've saved more shockwave grenades because they probably had 1 or 2 more in this instance to get into the zone. And had their teams been holding them, waiting, they would have heard that as well. So it wasn't like the hugest change, the hugest impact. As I'm realizing this, it did make a difference, but it wasn't like crazy because it obviously gives them like free mobility they don't actually have to carry inside of their inventory. So I want to look into how other teams are doing it. Teeny dies here, for example, whilst having the shock rock effect activated, and you can triple jump as a dead body. Now, had he been able to get the revive off, that would have been insane, but unfortunately Shark ends up dying. He dies out of the sky too. Good knowledge that if you use those, you can just run away from people as a knock body. I'm sure that's probably going to get patched, I would imagine. But in terms of how to actually use it in the end game, if you got here, you can see Novatism has 4 left, and Waza still has 3 nades as well. You just throw one down, give both you and the teammate it, and then you just wait for Zone to catch up, and you can just literally triple jump like this, like the entire one movement. Now, they do a good job of like landing in a high layer here, but one thing obviously you want to be careful is there's players jumping through the bottom of your tower, so you don't want to be too close to any other players. It just gives you a nice little, pretty much one entire free rotate. If you notice here, Rozak gets pre-edited and insta-killed. This is kind of actually more where the nades are super useful. Right? As a solo, look, he's at backside in an awkward spot, and you can just double jump over the entire lobby. So you're just kind of staying close to everyone, right? Like, you're not jumping way up in the sky. It's so hard to actually hit you as you're using it like that. And of course, he had 4 in the inventory, so that's like 3 full jumps, but you don't have to use 3 jumps on every rotate. There, he just used 2. So he had a spare one left. He ended up actually like popping another rock there before the next rotate. But you'll notice, I think this next rotate he does right here, he's again in an awkward spot backside, and you can just do another double jump. Unfortunately, he did I think either run out of jumps. He still has like cones on him. I think it's because he accidentally mantled there or whatever. But now he still has 2 more charges of it left. Like, you can use it just to jump in one single rotate. So really, by having 4 in your inventory, you're still getting 12 jumps, which in the end game, when you're like solo clutching, this is so good. But obviously, you can also like jump as a duo as well. You don't need to necessarily just use this as a solo too. There, jump straight to front in a way that, like, if you used an overdrive grenade, there's no way you'd have that much control because you just fly into the front side of the zone. Obviously, you also have the ability to like break through builds if you're in a really awkward spot, which I think he does a little bit later in this too. He's now backside, pops it, jumps again up to the front side here. Like, as a solo clutch item, is so good. And he jumps in an odd spot. Someone's there. He needs to get out, so he just jumps up. Unfortunately, doesn't really work because he jumps into full other duo. Still a lot of application used in endgame. A really good item. Most of the time, what I've been seeing so far is either a team carrying like one guy with overdrive grenades and one guy with those, or we've seen it in Swizzy Pixie's case here. Of course, he was carrying. They're both just carrying them, but they used them earlier in the game to make sure they just had charges for one single rotate. So one thing I was yet to consider with these is how much distance you can travel if you have multiple of them. You can see Teeny here ends up hearing a reboot next to him, and he just does a single triple jump. And then whilst it just, well, I was gonna say in the air, as soon as he lands, it's another triple jump, and he's just gone, what, like 200 plus 300 meters in the matter of like not milliseconds, that might be at a slight exaggeration, seconds. Now he's obviously like straight into the fight, pressure on Janice. Janice is weak on HP. They can catch up real quick, and then manages to get the E-Lib here. So, big meta switch ups, definitely worth carrying. I'm still not sure what the actual best way to carry them is. If you want to use one person with them, one person with overdrive. Of course, as we just saw, Swizzy Pixie had a lot of success just by using them early into the game, not necessarily carrying them much into the end game. A lot of the teams have had a lot of success using them into the end game. So, TBC on that. Like the video, subscribe. Peace.
Yo, Misfortune, you are trash! I literally misplayed everything this game. You're fucking horrible.
So this is rule 1 of League. When you win, it's not because the enemies are better, it's just because you play worse. Does that make sense?
Or it's because they're fucking sniping.
Yeah.
This guy typed Nicholas Douglas Stewart. I have not even typed in all chat.
Okay, so look, I want you to just look for the top to bottom and look around the dragon, okay? Yes.
Kind of hitting like a truck.
Run straight through the dragon. Run straight through the dragon. Finish the Raptors. I don't know anymore. Oh. Now jump.
Did they get it?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're going for this regardless. Go.
Who do you want me to dive?
Go on, Poppy. Now. Oh, wait, now an idiot. Now an idiot. Stop Holly. Okay, now Holly. Good. Nice! Okay, Q.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good. Okay, nice. Now you're in the spot. So now I want you to do red. Now look back. If the red isn't up, the crux might be.
And we're back.
Exactly. So that's what I'm telling you. You need to look wide your mini map, bro. Because stuff like that are opportunities that you constantly miss because you're just not looking enough at it. So this is what I'm gonna do, okay? We're gonna do an exercise for the rest of the game. Whenever I say I'll say map. I say map, and you give me one call out of what you see on the map, okay? It can be a top pushing, and maybe C mid, whatever it is, okay?
Okay.
Map.
Big fight top lane. Looks like Darius is dead.
Map.
Poppy's a lone bot.
Map.
We have vision around Baron.
Now you can keep the same call outs too. So now you're focusing up. Map.
3 of my teammates are top lane.
Map.
No one's bot.
No, just probably clear your board on the screen. That's why you're looking.
Gank Misfortune.
Able look for this first one. Now you allows you to drop. Nibia. Good. Kill the egg. Kill you. Nice.
Fucking nice. I'm fucking huge.
Nice. Good. Get the turret.
Every kill got stolen.
Map.
Body Bear's buff. Dead buff.
Map.
I could maybe fuck up Volley Bear.
There you go. Map.
Areas is showing. I'm coming. Should I finish this?
Yeah, you can finish. Drone. So now because you're running towards where you see on the map, you drone.
Yep.
Now you kill volley.
Yeah, Volley's so good.
Okay, now Baron. Why are you Baron?
Because Volley's dead, they have no jungler, and they have no numbers.
Yeah.
Volley's dead.
So now.
Jack is up in 2 seconds. I can maybe beat Volley. If I'm queuing, why aren't they getting locked? Is it because they're baiting me? They're just sitting out of
Well, it's because your touch shot's canceled. So, it's fine. What I want you to do now is just get your close agility go.
I'm actually sick to my stomach. Bro, what the fuck, man? Like, how? This is such a demon game.
Yeah. Okay, so now, buy your close agility. So,
No, I haven't. Do I not have it? Oh, buy it again? On
yeah,
separate.
because now you need Lord Dom's regards. So now
we just don't get Baron?
So now, at this point, no. Now look, enemy team is around Baron, right? So I would say map, and you'd be like, well, they're around Baron, so now you walk towards them. You walk towards where you believe the play to be by looking at your mini-map. This is how the game is played, bro. Are you understanding now? It's not full clearing at this stage of the game. No! Now walk up, get in position. And now wait for your piece of shit team to die for you. Walk up.
No one can
Banana push. Now walk in and on the enemy side. Strong. Go. Right now. Wait for your team.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, look. I'll make it simple for you. Okay? Okay, look. Wait for your team, wait for your team, wait for your team, wait for your team.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, look. I'll make it simple for you. Okay? Imagine you're here, and you see your entire team's here, and you saw why they're running, right?
What's the point of pinging the ground to initiate a fight on ground or something?
It's like, think of it like you're sending your troops into war, right? So you're pinging so that your team can walk, so that they can die for you, so that they can come in. Think of it like you're imagining you're a general doing orders. That's a pretty simple thing. So
Wait, Rock just got a triple. Yeah, I understand. Just ping, but then don't move.
I'll go dragon.
Rock just got a triple kill.
Yep, you guys can win this. Just get the dragon.
So you're saying to like do that and then
Yes.
just like bait it.
Yes. So you start spam ping on where you want to go and on top of your team so that they can actually see what's going on. So I'll get this dragon. Let's go. After the dragon, I'll do something on down. So I'm here. Buff this up.
So once I reach around level 13 to 15, you just stop clearing.
Yeah.
Unless it's like buffs, I guess.
Yeah, like now you can go for your clear because like there's not really any action going on, right? Like your chin reset, your first one round, but now you can go top. See? So this one map is important, right? Because like you see Darius is overextended, he has no turrets. So you gotta kill him.
Nevia's on me.
Hey, go for this, go for this, go for this, go for this. Good! Hey, now go for more. Ping on the volume. Go walk in, going first, and then just start doing it, but don't use your hands.
Yeah.
So now look for the ground. Like if your team is full of assholes, then there's literally nothing you can do. We're gonna get like pure and we're gonna look for that was a good last auto, So now what I want you to do is I want you to just clear your counter.
Oh my god, this is disgusting.
So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go red, Fox Raptors, and then one.
Baron, I guess?
So you have to go back, or you can go crab. Right? So it's literally just to the top side, and then afterwards you run on the crab. But now look, you see how they're walking up? So now you gotta react. It's instant. It needs to be instant for you. So now if you see there's something going on, you have to